mirror. We're doing 80% no link cable by Segastar. So Segastar, when you're ready, take it away. All right, everyone, welcome back. Without further ado, we are ready for our next run, which is Disney's Magical Mirror. 80%.
Alright, hello everybody. I am Segastar, and I am here to run probably a unique game for today's marathon. This is Disney's Magical Mirror starring Mickey Mouse. And this game is interesting because it's a point-and-click adventure game on the GameCube. Which is just, when you say that out loud, it's so interesting. So, basically, this category is called the no link percent, or no link cable. Just long story short, if you connect this game with a GBA game, you can add items into this game. That completely changes the route on all the categories on the leaderboard. But this is just the regular any percent, the original category that I got into with this game. Time is going to start as soon as I hit new game. And if we're ready, I guess we can get into it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Woo, let's go.
So we basically just have a introduction cutscene here. Kind of tells us what's going on here. Mickey's just chilling out, sleeping. But then for whatever reason, his mirror comes alive.
I can say I haven't had that happen to me before.
No, I don't think I'd experience that either. So. Yeah, that's a ghost. I think his name is the Paper Ghost or something like that. I don't remember his exact name off the top of my head. He's like, come with me. I love when I look at myself while I'm sleeping and I decide to go into a mirror for like no reason. I love that.
Yeah, that's like totally normal.
Totally. So we're basically going to start off in the first room of the game with a bunch of doors.
What?
So this is our cursor here. This is basically our main method of movement. Because since this is a point-and-click game, you have to point where you want to go. So some people might be asking, well, how do you speedrun a game like this? Well, there is a way. It all comes down to routing out the game and making sure that all the movements that we do are as efficient as possible. And now we get to watch Mickey deal with a doppelganger. Yeah, this game has a lot of funny cutscenes. It's a really kind of charming little game.
It definitely sounds like he's having quite the day today.
Mm-hmm. Like he literally just gets pulled out of his, sleep, and he gets thrown into like a house. So, just your average dream going on here.
Do we have time for a quick donation?
Oh, go right ahead.
Very awesome. So we have a $50 donation from Hexy. They didn't leave a message, but they donated towards our Toy Box Speedway Battle Mode. which is a reminder that is one of our incentives for the Disney Infinity 3.0 Toolbox Speedway Run. And they have also donated, put their incentives towards the Maple Pines as part of the Toolbox takeover for the sidekicks. So right now we have Maple Pines in the run, and who's taking the lead, and we have Minnie Mouse in second. So if you want to enter an exclamation donate in the chat, you can get more information on how to donate. We appreciate those donations. Please keep them coming in.
Awesome. Thank you, Haxie, for the donation. They are a great friend of mine. They picked up this game not too long after I did, and the both of us kind of got into a competition of sorts. So, thank you, Haxie, for the donation. I hope you're doing well today. So, what I just picked up here is, we call them star containers. If you ever played a Zelda game, or, when you pick up a heart container, kind of a similar mechanic. Although the stars don't represent health, they represent what's called tricks. And basically, tricks are just interactions that you can do in the game. And in order to do tricks, you need to have the proper star power. So, and here we pick up our first key. And now we go to the store here that has a star on it, because where else would we go? Unfortunately, we cannot skip like when he picks up items or anything like that. We wish we could, but we're getting our viewing experience today. So if we have anything else that you'd like to read out, or feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. So, I'd like to just remind everyone why we're here today. We are here supporting and raising funds for Prism. You can check out more about this organization at www.prismfl.org/learn to learn more about LGBTQ inclusivity and history and about what they do. And if you're looking to donate, as I mentioned before, we have a lot of wonderful incentives and bid wars going on here. Make sure to type exclamation donate in chat to get the link to our Tiltify page where you can make a direct donation. We have amazing incentives and bid wars for you to choose from. Make sure to get those in. We have lots of exciting runs today, and we'd love to see, I would love to see some of these incentives get met by the time the runs show up. So, yeah.
Awesome, glad to hear. Yeah, they sound like a great charity. So please consider donating. So now we kind of see what's going on here. Like, the ghost just decides to break the mirror. So now it's like Mickey's got to figure out what to do. So he tries to pick up the mirror shards, and we're going to see, oh, no, it's not that easy.
Well, at least he has some gloves on.
True. Safety first. So kind of the idea behind these mirror shards is that there's 12 of them. For this category, we only need to collect 8. So there is another category that's called all shards that we collect all 12. That's a bit of a longer category. And then there's another category, which is 100%, which we do everything in the game. And this game has quite a lot in it to do. It's not a... It might seem like just kind of a very simple put-together game, but there's quite a bit to do.
Now, do you get something special for getting all the shards?
You do get the better ending. Like, there's like 2 different endings depending on like if you collect like the minimum amount of shards, and like up until you collect, I believe, all 12, then the ending changes to the more better ending. So. And then kind of this cutscene kind of shows you where some of the shards are. So the game's like, hey, go to these places. And now we get to start our adventure. First things first, we gotta go through this door here. First, we're gonna collect this little star power here, because we're gonna need it for this cabinet. And kind of when this like icon here shows up, like with the star and the number on it, that's how we know that we need to do a trick. And the number tells you how many stars you need, so... That's not nice. So...
I was gonna say, it looks like they played a trick on you.
They did. So now we got our second key. And our first mirror shard is right there. Pretty easy right off the bat. And for every shard that we collect, we get to watch it fly all the way back to the mirror. Even though it's literally right next door. That's just so funny to me.
I see this game looks really nice visually.
Oh, yeah.
I really like it.
Oh yeah, I think it's a very pretty game for the time that it came out. The soundtrack in this game, even though it only has a few tracks, is very good. They did not have to put that much effort into this game, but they did. So now we go to our next area. Kind of the cool thing is that in between, like, setting, going through doors and all that, you can actually move the cursor. You can actually set up where you want to go next, which is very helpful. So here is going to be our first instance of a QuickTime event. There's a few of these throughout the game. And an interesting fact about this one, if you plug in a second controller, you can actually do it somewhat faster. But it doesn't really help that much in the grand scheme of things, but it is kind of funny how that works. And now there's a key up there in that spider web, but we're not going to grab it just yet. But it'll help us later. Shoutouts if you know that reference. So now we're going into the TV room. In the 100% category, this room has a lot going in it, but for just this category, we're just here to pick up this. Our second star...
Wow, is that...
Oh, go ahead.
Those Donalds? Sorry, I just noticed Donald Duck sitting there.
Yeah. That's an item that you can pick up. There's various items throughout the game of like Donald, Goofy, Minnie, and they're all just spread out through the game. So they're kind of like the hidden collectibles, and in the 100% category, we collect all of them. But unfortunately for this category, we don't need to collect them. Now for this room here, I'm taking a slightly safer way around this room. Because there's a bit of RNG that happens when you collect these stars, and you collect a mirror shard. Some of the stars do pop up again, but the kind of star you get can be different. So I'm trying to keep it to where it stays gold, because we're going to need it for the next part. It's kind of the only real RNG of the run, I would say. So I took kind of a safer strat where you just kind of go around the star. Say it costs only like a second, maybe second in a quarter. Marathon safety. Yeah, this whole like toy room area is very involved in like the later categories. There's a whole sequence where Disney gets, why did I say Disney? Goodness, Mickey gets shrunk down to really small, and you have to run around, and you get chased by a giant rubber duck. So it's a lot of fun, but unfortunately we won't see that in this run. But first, I have to pick up a pretty important item out of the box. a flashlight.
Gotcha.
We will need that later. So now we basically do a little bit of backtracking, and I collect that one star that... And hopefully by going through this door here, it'll give us the stars that I need, which it does. Good. It can be a silver, a gold, or a bronze, or sometimes none at all. So,
sorry if I missed it, but once you open up the door using the stars, do you have to use stars again to get back through it, or no?
for going through doors, no. It's only, like, let's say, like, if I went through that door there and I didn't have enough stars, I'd have to turn around and I can go back in the room I was in and collect them. But it's RNG when you come back through. So that's kind of why I took a safe strat there. So we would have enough for this trick to get this key. That's kind of where some of the routing comes in. Like, we know exactly, like, what tricks we have to do. We know exactly, like, where all the stars that we can pick up are. So we try to route it to where we don't have to go back and collect any if we don't have to. So here's kind of a fun little hallway here between these two gold stars. And you can actually run between them, and that's actually slightly faster. And I did a nice little setup there to be able to hit that trick pretty much on the exact frame it shows up. And we're already about to collect our next shard.
Do we have time for another quick donation?
Sure. Go right ahead.
All right, we have $10 from Anonymous, who says, "Good luck to all the runners and have a great marathon." Thank you so much, Anonymous, for that $10 donation, and it also donated towards our Toy Box Speedway Battle Mode incentive. We really appreciate that. We're at 60 out of $150 for that. We still got about 10 hours left to meet that target. So make sure if you want to get some donations in, put an exclamation point, donate in chat for more information.
Alright. So now we gotta go to kind of the next, like I would say, like big area of this whole mansion of sorts. The Grand Hall. Where we get to collect our next mirror shard and do some other cool stuff. Oop. Yeah, sometimes Mickey doesn't like to run. Getting him to run in these longer hallways is one of the strats that we try to use to try to go as fast as we can in this game. So now we have to pick up a couple items in this room before we can move on. First is this jar over here. Now he's going to look inside the jar.
This is a tricky one.
Now the game wants you to do a trick here, but we found out that you don't need to do it. He just picks the key up automatically.
Gotcha.
Which is nice. And then we gotta go all the way over to the other side of the hall to grab this flower that's sitting in a pot. The nice thing is that everything that you can click on kind of has like its own like area surrounding it to where you can click on it. So that's what we try to do. We try to set our cursor on stuff that we want to click on ahead of time, so then we can just set it right up and pretty easy peasy. And this trick right here is really funny because I don't think the ghost realizes that he literally pulls Mickey out of his dream, and for whatever reason, he's trying to take him out.
Oof.
Like, he did not think that one through. Like I said, this game has so many funny little moments like this. It's a very fun little game to play.
Did he literally cut that down with just a pair of scissors?
He did, which makes absolutely no sense. Those are some strong scissors to cut through chain.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Right. So now the cool thing is, there's a star container that's hiding just under the stairs, and they put it right to where we can reach it. When I first started running this game, the amount of star containers that we had to pick up was 4. But I learned that you can collect that one under the stairs, and with some clever routing, you don't have to pick up a 4th one. So that saved a lot of time when I first started running the game. So now the next shard that we have to pick up is probably one of the more frustrating ones to pick up. Because it can either go really well, or it can go not good. You'll see in a moment what I'm talking about. We all having a good day so far? I am. I'm enjoying myself.
I am doing fantastic.
Awesome, that's glad to hear. Thank you for hosting for my run, I appreciate it.
No, I'm honored. Like, I like point and click adventures, so this is totally awesome to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique game in that regard. It's yeah, so we can just walk between those 2 gold stars, which is really nice. So now we pick up our next mirror shard, and it's going to be in this cabinet that's going to be like right here. And there's all these silverware. And if you try to get them moving fast enough, you can do that trick almost instantly. I did it a little slower there just to kind of show how it worked, but for optimization wise, you want to be able to, you can do that like super quick if you're able to. The task for this game does it like almost instant. And that one needed 3, stars to pick that one up, so that's why we picked up the star container where we did. And with that, we got another mirror shard. One thing that's kind of cool is that there's a lot of little references throughout this entire game to like some of the old Mickey cartoons, and then for the more odd references, Mickey can throw a Hadouken and do shurikens like from Street Fighter, because this game was developed by Capcom of all people.
Wow, are you serious?
I am not joking. There's actually a mini game later on in this game that unfortunately we don't see it in this category, but there's a barrel mini game where you literally have to break the barrels using either a Hadouken or a Shoryuken. So yeah, it's quite funny.
That's something I would have never expected to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is definitely out of it's something you don't expect. And there's another one of the items that you can pick up, Minnie's bow. So now we kind of have we're gonna pick up this little star down here in the bottom there, and you can actually click up through the floor to hit this door, which is very convenient. The next room is kind of just a little bit of a quick time event, so not too much going on here. You just kind of just bring it right over here to the other stool. This game has some like little small areas of like you have to like do some puzzles or whatever. They're not terribly hard. They're really easy quick time events, nice and easy. You pick up the key. The next room is going to be kind of cool. We found a neat little optimization only about a couple years ago that actually helped us cut down quite a lot of time. Like, we thought that this game was figured out a few years ago, but it has surprised us quite a lot. We're always finding new little weird stuff about it. So the interesting thing is, in this room of doors, there's this little alcove that's right here that has 2 silver stars in it that just give us enough stars to do what we need to do for the rest of this area. For the longest time, we didn't know that was there. Until I forgot the runner who found out about it. It was like in a guide or somewhere they read years ago. And we were like, how did we not see that? So that helped cut a lot of time out in this category. Now for probably one of my favorite cutscenes in this game. Mickey goes to sleep, again, in his own dream. How does that work?
Yeah, again.
Yep, we're... It's a dream within a dream. Dreamception. It's a bee! And for whatever reason, this bee just decides it wants to bother Mickey. Now the interesting part about this thing is that you actually do have to keep this cursor like on Mickey like while it's pink. So it plays out the way it's supposed to.
So is the pink just an indicator of where you should have it on the keyboard?
Hmm?
Is the pink, when it turns pink, it's just an indicator of where you should position it on the key?
It pretty much turns pink whenever you have it on Mickey at any time.
Okay.
Yeah. Not really anything that we use in, you know, like, it doesn't really do anything. Like, you can kind of, like, interact with him, and he'll be, like, if you can, like, squeeze his ear or whatever, which is kind of funny. But it's only useful, like, we only do it in this cutscene, because otherwise the bee doesn't, like, see Mickey, and it doesn't play out properly. Just kind of waste time doing it that way. So we try to make sure that it stays on him during that whole sequence. And that's the only way that we can get that shard. We have to do that sequence. There's no way to...
I was gonna say, that's a crazy way to get the shard. You had to go through all that.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we can't just grab it from underneath the plot because the game isn't built like that. This game is pretty solid overall in terms of, like, there's, like, no real glitches or anything like that. It is very, like, solid in that regard. There's, like, no way to break it. But due to the way that the game is kind of laid out, like kind of like once you get past, like, all the intro stuff, the game is fairly open, so it kind of allowed us to kind of, you know, like, play around with the routing in the other categories. Which is really nice. So now we gotta go and pick up the second to last shard. And then after that, we'll be heading towards our last one. We kind of passed through a lot of, like, the other stuff that you can do in this game. Like I said, this is only just kind of a very, like, minimal showing of the game itself. So now we have another trick here. We have to do this cabinet. But for the second time we do this cabinet, we basically have to, if anyone remembers the old Mario Party, where you have to really spin your stick really hard, we basically have to do that.
Oh, the tug-of-war game?
Yeah. Because we have, like, a quick time event here, and it shows that you can, like, spin, like, wiggle your stick back and forth and hit the A button, but it's technically faster to just do the control stick. And I didn't quite do as good there, but if you do it really fast, you can save a little bit of time on that sequence. And that's our 7th shard, and we only need one more.
Very nice.
Mhm. Yeah, one thing about this game that is nice that it's kind of a maybe the downtime might be a little much for some people, but I like it. It's kind of just a nice, nice and relaxing run.
Yeah, I think it's really fun so far. Like, after you do this run, I was thinking about trying a game for myself because, like I said, I love like point and click, just fun, straightforward games, and the visuals are nice, and I really love the music in this game. And since you mentioned Capcom, I have to try it now.
Oh yeah, like I said, this game is it's very fun, and like everybody always asks me like, how do you speedrun a game like this? And I'm like, well, it's possible. So you just got to think outside the box a little bit. So mostly this part now is just we're just basically backtracking to get back to the area where the chandelier and all that was. So yeah, if you're interested in checking out this game, it's not too hard to find at all.
Do you play any other point and click adventures?
This is really the only one that I speedrun. I haven't really looked at too many others. I did grow up with a couple like SpongeBob point and click games, but that was about it. I grew up with this.
I think it's awesome.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I think it's awesome because I was wondering too, like, how do you speedrun a point and click adventure? But you definitely have proven that it is possible. So I think that's really cool, and I'd love to see more runners out there, more games like this.
Yeah, because of the way that this game's resources and all that are, it does kind of make for some interesting routing choices. Especially when you bring the linked cable stuff into it, it does kind of change the game pretty significantly. That's why we had to split the leaderboard. So now for probably one of the funniest parts of this game. Like if the chandelier wasn't already enough, now for whatever reason a giant sword just decides it wants to try to take out Mickey too.
Oh my goodness, he's really not having a good day at all.
Nope, he is not. Oh my god. Okay, he's safe.
You have the pointer over his eye, so at first
Oh no!
his eye, I'm like, oh my goodness.
I didn't.
Oh, not Mickey.
I did not do that intentionally. Oh my goodness. What is wrong with me? This is a little chase sequence of sorts. For this category, it's not really too special. It's just basically just avoid getting hit because that loses time. I currently have the world record in this game at 35:10 in this category, but there's other categories as well. Like I said, there's the all shards category, which just collects all 12 shards, and there's the 100% where you do everything in the game. And we have.
Congratulations on the world record.
Thank you. I've had it for a while now. I haven't been able to lower it. This category is pretty well figured out, so most of the time save comes down to the very minute stuff. Like just small like optimizations, trying to keep Mickey from doing unnecessary movements. Because sometimes when like you're in between doing options, sometimes Mickey will just decide to turn around at you and hop. Like he's like looking at you waiting for something to do. And that can cost some time. So oh, and here's probably one of the funniest things. Mickey tries to smooth the woman in a painting.
This is for you.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, that's why we have to pick up the rose. Not only because he's trying to, you know, be smooth with that woman in the painting. There's a cave behind it. And you can go in. Like he's contemplating what to do.
I gotta say, I don't have any caves behind paintings in my house, but
No.
maybe that's a thing.
Yeah. Interesting thing about this cave is that you can actually go through this cave without the flashlight, and Mickey will actually run through it. However, the game kind of throws you a bit of a gotcha. If you go through this cave without the flashlight, you can't pick up this shard. It's the only way you can pick it up. So, it's kind of a neat little way that the game kind of like, throughout the game kind of throws you clues as to like, hey, you pick up a flashlight, and if you go through the cave, you might, you can put 2 and 2 together. It's kind of neat in that regard. It's kind of like an open-ish game, kind of like maybe not like a Luigi's Mansion, but kind of in that same regard, like you're traveling through a mansion. So, it's pretty cool like that. And with that, we have collected our 8th and final shard. Which means the run is almost over.
Oh, that was quick.
Mm-hmm. There, it kind of shows you like more of like the full picture. And interestingly, after the 8th shard, if you collect any of the others, it plays that slightly longer version of the cutscene. So that's kind of neat. So now we come in here, and this is like a whole room of like cool different stuff you can do. But there's only one thing that we're going to be doing here. See this blue door right here? That's going to take us somewhere interesting. Time is coming up right about now.
Oh, congrats, GG's.
And that takes you back to the very first big room with the mirror. It's a warp door. Sadly, they don't have a lot of use like in other parts of the run, but for basically finishing a run, it's basically pretty easy. What was our final time?
35:51.
Wow. 35:51. Wow, that was a little faster than I expected. So, I just want to shout out Haxie again. They donated earlier. They and I worked on routing out this game pretty hard. And for a while, we had quite the rivalry going. So, without Haxie, I probably would not have been running this game as long as I did, or even go to Games Done Quick events in person if it wasn't for them. So, just want to say thanks, Haxie. I appreciate it a lot.
Well, again, congratulations. It was an awesome run. I never knew about this game, but now especially since you mentioned Capcom, that was like the icing on the cake. I'm going to definitely check it out. Where can we find you?
You can find me at Segastar1 here on Twitch. On other socials, YouTube, just look up Segastar. At Segastar Pika. That's on Twitter/X.
So long, pal.
And I stream every so often. I do different games. This is one of my first games that I speedran, but I do other games now as well. But I was happy to have a chance to show this one off again, because it's been a long time since I showed it off in a marathon, and I was very happy to have the opportunity to do so.
Well, we thank you again for showing your run, and I look forward to seeing more from you. And so, without further ado, we're going to take a quick break and set up for our next run. So thanks everyone. Take this time to get up, stretch, hydrate, and Segastar, thank you once again.